What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Pam and today I'm going to introduce you to the spring Plantuber tag. So I decided today that we're going to do some plant chores. I have a few things I need to repot. I'm starting to get in the spring feeling. We're doing all the plant chores, some spring cleaning, up potting, checking for bugs. I'm just getting ready for the spring, for everything to start growing again and this merciless winter to end. Actually, the winter's been pretty mild here and it's kind of freaky. So I thought I would throw out a tag to Plantube. I want to know where everyone's at the end of winter. We're almost there. Are your plants still alive? How are you doing? Are you okay? So if you're watching this, consider yourself tagged. I'm also going to tag a few people at the end of this video. The questions will be in the description box down below, and if you use the hashtag, I will be able to put all of our videos into a playlist on my channel. So feel free to hop on in and let's get started. Okay, so on the agenda, I have this pretty dry and recently pest-ridden coleus. You might remember this coleus from my indoor coleus video. If you haven't seen that, I will link it down below in the description box. But I made this pot of coleus out of tip cuttings in that video to show you guys how to propagate coleus. So it's not been very long, and as you can see, it has filled out quite a bit. I had this under my Hidden Harvest grow lights in the living room on my IKEA shelf, and it actually got so big that I had to take it out from under there. So as you can see, the red has faded back to the green-edged leaves, which is what happens when it doesn't get the full sunlight. When it's in full sun, the leaves are like this. Another reason this got moved out from underneath the grow light was because I spotted a mealybug on this plant, which I was very surprised by. I've never had pests on my coleus before, so I'm thinking that it transferred over there from a Hoya that I had on that shelf that had mealybugs at one point, and one of them must have traveled over to the coleus and laid some eggs. I actually have already removed it from its original pot, so you can see how much the roots had grown out. Oh, I'm just using the Pro Mix that I usually use, and I also have some bits of horticultural charcoal in here, as well as like a little scoop of cactus soil and some extra perlite. I put like a good healthy scoop of extra perlite in here. So this is just sort of the all-purpose mix I'm going with right now. So question one is, did you start spring cleaning and repotting yet? And the answer is yes. I have been working like crazy. I've gotten through almost all of the house except the bathroom at this point. So I think at some point I will probably sit down and film all of the problem solving that has to go on in the bathroom, because those plants are bumming. But I'm definitely in the process of getting everything ready for the growth season. I want everything in its best shape. So yeah, definitely started with that, rearranging shelves. We're in the mood, we're ready. So as usual, I try to moisten it to the point where it sort of clumps together but also crumbles apart. Sounds confusing, but it makes sense, trust me. Okay, let's open this while I have a clean hand. So question two is, have you started fertilizing yet, and do you stop for the winter? So I do stop for the winter for the most part. I did give my peperomias, I think, one very diluted dose of my regular 10-10-10 fertilizer. I like how I did that. It's unnecessary. And that is because peperomias are summer dormant. They do a good amount of growing in the late fall through the winter. So I just wanted to give them in that winter time just a little extra something something. They were all looking just a little sad and it seemed to help them out. So I would say that that was an okay process. So next up, I'm gonna pot up these Myranda cuttings. These are actually for Kay over at the Organized Soprano. If you've never seen her channel, it's a very aesthetically pleasing. She is an organizer and also a soprano singer in Boston. I found her channel when I was going through an organization purge. You know how you like to go on YouTube and find your motivational videos, right? So Kay was my organizational person, because most of the organization channels on YouTube are insufferable.
It's my opinion!
Kay kind of made me laugh, and she also liked houseplants. So course I subscribed, right? So eventually I'm going to get these Myranda cuttings to her, but they've been in water for a while. So I want to put them in some soil so that nothing happens to the plant before I get it up to her. And now it will be a new house gift because she finally got into her new condo. So it's very exciting. Question number 3 is, what plants, if any, did I lose over the winter? So I did lose some plants. A lot of it was sort of submission. It's just like, look, you don't want to live. I don't want to keep watering you. We just a mutual agreement, you know? But I have definitely suffered some losses. I put this in water with some pothos cuttings because they do seem to help things root a lot faster. I do have rooting hormone now, but at the time I was just doing water, and the pothos cuttings really just kind of seem to kill it, and you don't need a subscription to use them, so... Shade! I'm gonna gently separate these a little bit. They look very healthy. The leaves look really good, and this was in a room with my heater in it all summer long on the kitchen table with the cats just kind of perching underneath it. So I really think that this is the tougher of the different varieties of this kind of Myranda. It's just seems to be really happy in my house, at least. I think I've got this thing nestled in here pretty well, and it looks like it'll be all right in this pot for a while. So question number 4 is, did I order any plants in the mail? And if so, how did that go? So I don't think that I ordered any plants really in the dead of winter this year. I definitely did the year before, but this year not so much. I did, however, get a few plants sent to me, you know, cuttings and things from you guys, and those have been kind of touch and go. You know, some of them took a lot of cold damage. I don't think I've entirely lost anything quite yet, but there are some that may not make it. But for the most part, I did okay. Like I said, it's been very mild this year, so it's almost like winter isn't really happening anyway. The next question is, now that it is spring, do I have any must-buys on my wish list that I'm planning to purchase? So I don't think that I can live very much longer without some long drapey plants. I would like a Hoya linearis, and I would also really like some beautiful Ripsalis plants. And I think that I'm going to need them this year. I think I think we're going to need them. It's been a long winter, you know? I deserve it. You guys back me up, right? So that is a healthy size plant. This thing has put out several leaves since I popped it in the water. So this thing is ready to rock. Okay, your Myranda is all potted up and ready to go. Okay, what is the next question? I have to like look at my own questions because I don't remember what I wrote. Question number 6 is, do I have any life-saving tips or tools that helped my plants get through this winter? I would definitely say that the humidifier helped, although I admit that filling that thing was such a pain in the ass that I really didn't do it as much as I should have. I really need to get my hands on a better humidifier. I already have to fill like 5 water dishes in this house 3 times a day, so of course, I will bang on about them forever, but they really have been just priceless. My Hidden Harvest LED panel lights, especially the 2 that I have in my IKEA shelf in the living room, have been just amazing. I was able to, with the glass shelves, kind of have 2 layers of light where I could put my succulents closer to the light, and that literally saved my string of dolphins, my string of bananas. You guys will see in a video coming up how the lights have treated a lot of my plants, but I can tell you that it definitely saved quite a few of my succulents, and all of the plants that were on the second tier that were getting a more gentle amount of light are just so happy. I definitely think a lot of those plants would have suffered more if I didn't have my grow lights, and I have, you know, some other supplemental lights that definitely helped, but those were definitely the workhorses this winter. So the last thing I'm going to repot is I'm just doing a slight up pot on this Calathea or Tenanthe. I don't really know. It's listed as both on the internet, and frankly, I'm exhausted, so it's one or the other. I don't care. Actually, I do care. It drives me crazy. I got this guy at Mahoney's, and it's tagged as a Calathea setosa, and it's in a plastic pot in here. And as you can see, the dirt has settled quite a bit down there. And I have it in this glazed outdoor pot. Now, I generally do not plant anything in my house in a glazed outdoor pot because I have learned that they do not dry for a very long time because they're meant to withstand the hot summer and still maintain moisture. But with this guy, because it is such a thirsty plant and it likes to stay pretty moist a lot of the time, but it's also pretty tough. You know, it can kind of take anything at this point. Look at the size of this thing. It's ridiculous. It just keeps, it grew all winter. It's nuts. I'm going to try it in this pot. We're going to see how it goes, and I'm going to keep an eye on it with my moisture meter. And as long as everything looks okay, then I think we'll be fine. So this is like a very slight up pot. This is just gonna give it a few more inches of growth space on the bottom. I don't wanna disrupt this thing very much because it is so happy. I just wanna give the roots that are kind of coming out of the bottom of the pot a little extra room to grow when the spring comes, and I guess it grows more. Okay, I'm actually excited to be able to wash this pot out because I have some other stuff that I need to up pot. I'm definitely at the point where I'm like, I just don't want to buy any more pots. I'm literally afraid I'm adding too much weight to my house in terracotta. It's shooting out like a little tuber over here. How cool is that? So question number 7 is, do I put plants outside over summer? And if so, will I do it this year? So I never actually have before. My buddy Aaron Deathley has kind of encouraged me to do it this year, so I think I'm going to try it. I'm definitely going to put my Christmas cacti outside because that really benefits their blooming the following year. I did have really good luck with the blooms this year, but I think that they could be even better if I put them outside, which is generally what is advised for, you know, to put them outside during the warm season, and then you can bring them back in the fall. I'll move you guys so you can actually see me and this giant plant. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what I can get for growth out of some of my plants this summer. I think I'm going to use my north-facing porch, which I don't really use to sit on just because it's kind of old and crappy, but it would be fine for my houseplants to be out there at least for a couple of months. And then I will probably put them out for the rain. Anybody has any good videos that talk about like kind of low-key like amateur rainwater collecting, you know, maybe just let me know about it. And maybe we don't really look too hard to see if it's okay to do that in my area. Okay, thanks. Okay, that's it for the repotting. I'm gonna plant a few seeds while I'm sitting here. We're gonna finish up the questions. Question number 8. Did you have any pest problems over the winter, and did you conquer them? So I touched on it a little bit, but I did get those mealybugs on the coleus. Still so surprised about that, even though I know where they came from, but I'm just surprised they were on the coleus of all plants. And I have seen one somewhat recently, so I haven't quite vanquished them yet, but it does seem to be isolated to those coleus plants, so at least I can keep an eye on them. And like I said, I've only found 2, so I figure I'm probably okay. But you know, like I've said before, when you have as many plants as I do, and I'm somewhere around 150, 160, 170, pest control is more pest maintenance. You know, they're in the walls at this point. So I just try to keep everything clean, and I try to keep everything from touching each other too much, and you just stay on top of your plants. I have never had anything really be overtaken by pests. I've always just found 1 or 2 or just a little bit of webbing, so far so good. So question 9 is one plant that thrived all winter. I have got a great answer for this one. Hold on. This beauty right here is my Philodendron rubescens. I think that's how you say it. I got this baby from the Plant Hall, which is Steph Hall's plant shop. I actually repotted this baby the other day. It had way outgrown its pot, and it was definitely time to be staked up. It was just flopping everywhere, but look at this thing. It is insane. So here's the top, and it's working on another leaf right now. And then she goes all the way just gorgeous. I love this plant. And it was probably only about this tall at the beginning of the winter, so it has put on quite a bit of growth over the winter time. And I actually had a LED panel hanging over this plant and a few others over by the window, and it was also in a north-facing window. Got some little bit of eastern sun in the morning. So it's had a very gentle light over the winter with a little supplemental grow light for a few months. I have since moved that light to germinate seeds, but they're getting more sun in that window now, so they're doing fine. Oh, it's actually putting out 2 leaves. Very cute. I did great over winter. You would have never known it was winter. So I'm just going to be planting some sweet peas, which are cute little fragrant flowers. It's a vining flower. I might be training these over a fence. I'm not really sure yet, but I know that they smell really nice, so I'm going to have them near the windows of the house. And I have always wanted to grow sweet peas, so I'm pretty excited to get them started. And I will answer the final question. I hope you guys enjoyed this tag. If you did, let me know. Last question is the plant I am most excited for spring growth. And I know exactly what plant that is. So this Hoya shepherdii that I got from Mahoney's last year is the happiest plant in my house right now, I think, because it is putting out tons and tons of growth. I could have had this baby in the last question as well, because it did quite a bit of growing over the winter, but mostly growing vines and peduncles. Oh, there's so many peduncles. Look at this. Look at it. Look at this guy. And if you need a touching story of hope, this plant came with lots and lots of mealybugs. I stayed persistent with the Q-tips and alcohol, and it's fine now. And this actually flowered for me last summer, so I'm pretty confident that it's going to happen again, especially now that I'm seeing all the new growth on this thing. It's just so happy. It just can't stop grabbing everything. And that kind of goes for all of my Hoyas too, because I've noticed a lot of recent growth on most of them that I have, and I think that they're all really going to be popping this year, and I'm pretty excited about it. Even the smaller ones seem to be growing little peduncles. Thrilling. Little sweet peas. I'm only going to plant a few of these. It might be a little too early, but it's such a warm spring. I really think that we're going to get a very early start on spring flowers, and these are pretty hardy, so we're going to give it a shot. All right, all set. So if you liked this tag, make sure you let me know down below. If you want to do it, please jump in, use the hashtag. I'm going to put us all into a playlist on my channel so you can see everybody's answers to the question. Happy almost spring. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Today I'm gonna throw a little tag that I created out there at you. Feel free to jump in. I don't like this. And I have some questions I want to ask all of Plantuber. Ow. Oh. Why? I want to know what everybody's doing at the end of the winter. I want to know what everybody's feeling like at the Use the hashtag below, and we'll be able to group all the videos together in and this new growth where I pinched it, which is why, and then this new growth right here is only receiving. I've had this plant forever, for like, I don't know, it's been a lot of years. Oh, I forgot to pre-moisten my soil. God damn, bad example. Oh, my phone charger's in the dirt. Good. Oh, I didn't bring any fucking water in here. Seriously, Pamela? Did I do question 1? Just in case I didn't do question 1. So this, ooh, my mic, hold on. That would have sucked. Maybe someday I'll be YouTube famous enough to get people to send me pots. Except for Pody, I don't want your pots, you weirdos.